Hello, Lisa Fry, the Catholic Unschooler here. Today, I was asked to explain what unschooling is. Well, I'm going to do my best because I'm still learning, okay? As far as I know, it's basically letting the child look at their own interests and talents and all that there, and you're supporting it the whole entire time. And rather than, do your traditional schooling where you're sitting down doing certain books, you are basically waking up in the day. There is no set schedule as far as learning. You're just going through your day and you're naturally learning all day long. But it's so subtle most of the time. It's kind of like if I did not see you for about a year or two and I run into you and I say, hey, what have you been doing? And then the person might say like, oh, nothing much. Meanwhile, you've done so many things. You've skydived, you went deep sea fishing, you went to a few weddings, a few funerals, you might your cousin had a baby and you had so much going on in your life, and you were exposed to so many things that but they're just so natural about it that it just doesn't seem like it was really much. So the deal is, the difference between unschooling, see, it doesn't mean uneducating. It doesn't at all. It actually means the opposite. They should have definitely given it a better name. I think it was because the whole mindset of, looking at the school system, okay, the public school system, John Holt in the 70s, if you look him up on Google, or even on YouTube, you will find information on his mindset, why he gave it that name. And so looking at the public school system, we wanted to unschool, because if you research where the public school came from, what was the mindset about it, why was it instituted, there's a whole bunch of information that is quite frightening, actually. And it's not to attack teachers and school attendants and all that there. It's not to do that. It is just plainly, where did it come from and why does it exist? So when you learn that and you hear the word unschool, it's just kind of, I think, to break away from that mind of controlling the people, because that's what one of the reasons why it was instituted. So when you unschool, I homeschooled very, very staunchly, so much so for about 15 years that we even opened up a school outside of our home. At a parish center, the priest loaned us out this humongous building. It was wonderful. We had a number of families. So we homeschooled, where you would basically, whatever you do in a school setting, a public school setting, we just brought it here. So rather than me have someone else teach my children, I was teaching them, okay? So now when you homeschool, you can either buy a curriculum, make up your curriculum, you can attend classes somewhere else within all of that. But the whole idea is that the parent has 100% everything to do with the child in learning, if that makes any sense. Now, unschooling, the parent still does, except that instead of sitting down and saying, okay, we're going to stay here from 7 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock at night, we're out and we're living and we're just exploring. And when the child asks, Mama, what does this mean? And then I either tell them right then and there and explain it, or if I don't know, I need to get to it ASAP. So in my other videos, because I'm still learning, I have a booklet for each one of my children. I have 3 children, 3 here and 3 in heaven. And I like to keep track so that I I can see if this is really working, because this is my first, I've done this now since last summer. So, but it's mixed with very, very relaxed homeschooling, because, society tells us, and every single person in my family practically is a teacher. My father is a teacher, has been a math teacher for 40 years. My stepmother's a teacher. My brothers and sisters are teachers. I have a brother who teaches the professors at a college. My uncle was a teacher. My aunt is a teacher. My grandfather was a teacher. So you can see where, now here I come and I'm teaching my children. So I am a teacher. And so to say to them that I am not going to do this that way any longer, it was quite frightening. I think they would all agree that to stay out of the public school system is a good idea, but they still want me to educate at home, as in homeschooling. We got a boxed curriculum every year, and I usually started them off at second grade. I did all the way up to second grade by myself, and then second grade I would enroll them in this curriculum. And they would have tests, and they would be evaluated and all that there, and we would have workbooks galore. But I noticed it was squashing their spirits. So that's when I said to myself, I need to do something else. And someone else I talked to said that their child's spirit was also getting squashed. And I just saw the decline in my children, and that they didn't want to learn anymore. And I'm saying, why? I love to learn. Like, this is not what I was intending to do. And most children that I talk to feel that same way. So I'm saying to myself, why do my children not want to learn? What does that mean? I love to learn. I homeschooled you so that you would love to learn. Why don't you love to learn? So that's when I discovered Unschooling online. And it all started out with my friend from El Salvador. She says, Lisa, in her cute little accent, why do you throw away all your leaves and then you go to Home Depot and you buy fertilizer? And I was like, isn't that what everybody does? That's just what we do. And then she's like, but God gave you the beautiful leaves. They fall down and they go into the ground, and the worms, they come up and they do the poopy and they nourish the ground. And I was just like, what are you talking about? And I was like, when it started clicking, I'm saying to myself, why don't I know that? I was so offended, not at her, but at the idea that I sit at the table for hours, for years at the table, and I don't know this simple thing. I said, there's something wrong. How can I be learning and not know that? Maybe you guys knew that, but anyway, so unschooling, what I've been learning is that even though I still am slightly homeschooling, I will give my children very minimal math, very minimal English, very minimal phonics, very minimal writing, like printing and cursive. I know their strengths. I've already seen it growing, as they grew. They can write, they can tell stories, they can do all of this stuff. They love science naturally. I don't have to sit them down and all this. Now, the difference is that I've come to see that my children, I had to come to accept this. It took a little while there. It took probably almost up to the beginning of the summer, since last summer, that my children are not going to know, because all of society is learning all of the same thing at certain ages, right? In your traditional school setting. So my children at their ages are not going to know everything that all the other kids their ages might know. So, but my kids are going to know things that all their other ages are not going to know. Why? Because they're not learning the exact same things in the exact same ways. So unschooling, you're pretty much kind of sort of waiting for their minds to really want to do this, to accept it. Like one of my children, we were in Macy's buying a dress for a wedding, and I had my rabbit in my hand, my daughter's handbag, and one of my kids came up and says, Mama, can you teach me percents again?